4th, 2024. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Councilmember Oliva,
Present.
Councilmember Garcia,
Present.
Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas-Singh,
Present.
Mayor Marroquin.
Present. Madam City, Madam City, I'm sorry. You would think that by now I'd have the order. And so I would like to ask Interim Mayor Pro Tem Cardenas-Singh to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. If you can please rise.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilmember Carter, please lead us in an invocation.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you just simply saying thank you. We come to you, Lord, asking you just to bless everybody during these hot summer months that are coming up, Lord. We're asking for you just to bless the people who don't have air conditioner, the people who don't have air conditioner in their car, the people that are less fortunate, Lord. Let's just go out and let's think about the people who do not have. And let's just go and bless the Centro, the East, the North, the South, and the West. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Madam City Attorney, any reports on closed session?
There's no report on reporting out for this closed session, Madam Mayor. However, at this time, we would like to ask that item 8, the budget presentation, be continued to the June 18th meeting, and I believe that both you and the city manager had a comment on that.
Yes, Mr. City Manager Cedric Cesenia?
Yes,
you
Madam Mayor,
have a
thank you. So as we move forward on this crucial discussion, right, of our financial planning and resource allocation, it is paramount that we get the time necessary to review all the necessary considerations. So, we thank you and we appreciate the opportunity to continue this item to our next agenda.
And in addition to that, I would like to add that I would have formed an ad hoc subcommittee composed of 2 council members, which are myself and Councilmember Oliva, to work with staff to review and advise on the format and content of the budget before its presentation and adoption.
Madam Mayor, you have one additional change in the agenda. Do you want to go ahead? Norma will tell you about it.
Yes, Mayor, we need to add, delete one of the presentations that are not present, number 1, and add Karina Beltran presentation.
Yes, and can I get a motion to add the presentation for Karina Beltran, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All righty. So at this time, we then move on to public comments. And I would like to state that this is a public meeting. If there's an item on the agenda on which you wish to be heard, you are asked to complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council are not required to identify themselves. However, this information assists the mayor by ensuring that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assists the city clerk in preparing the city council meeting minutes. When the item is announced and your name is called by the mayor, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. If you wish to address the council concerning any other matter not appearing on the agenda, you may do so during the public comment portion of the agenda. However, you may not show a visual presentation without a review of that material. If you do so, you will be considered out of order. And I do have one request, and may I call Mr. Marty Ellett to the podium, please?
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor, and City Council members. I just wanted to thank you all for recently recognizing fire and police as risking their lives for us and doing that and how important that is, but as well as the recent memorial services that you helped, sponsor with the veterans. So very thankful for events like this that are helpful and very important for our community to remember these things. So I just wanted to thank you all for that. It was a very nice event. Kind of hot, but that's, what do you expect? That's good.
It's life in the valley.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellett. All right. Okay, and so now we move on to presentations. And, this is the item that we just added. So we would like to recognize Ms. Karina Beltran. Where did she go? She's hiding back there. I know she's very shy. So Karina is a seventh grade student at St. Mary's School. She made it to the quarterfinals of the Scripps National Spelling Bee competition in Washington, D.C. She tied for 60th place out of 245 contestants from around the nation.
Wow.
She correctly spelled the words Texas, inducement, and Leith at the National Spelling Bee. She won the 2024 19th Annual Regional Imperial County Spelling Bee in March to advance to the National Spelling Bee that was held in May. So Ms. Karina Beltran and her parents, Mr. Carlos Beltran and Susana Beltran, I'd like to invite you to come up to the podium. And, and I would just like to add that, aside from her parents, I too am extremely proud of Karina because I work at St. Mary's School. And so I've seen her, grow throughout the years. And this is like, wow, what an accomplishment. So I would like to read the certificate of recognition for Karina. So in recognition of your academic excellence and for representing Imperial Valley at the National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C., congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. And so. Are you wearing your spelling bee shirt? Oh, how cute. Wow. Mr. and Mrs. Beltran, please come up. So it's like, if you'd like, and I'm going to call up my colleagues and we'd like to take a picture with you. Okay. If you'd like to center yourselves right here, we'll have Karina right there. Perfect. Sorry. Thank you.
Siempre regañando.
I know.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
I know they do. Council Member Oliva would like to give little Miss Beltran a pop quiz.
Oh,
And that just reminds me of, I'd like to ask of my colleagues if they would like to make any comments for Ms. Beltran.
Yes. I will tell you, Miss Karina, congratulations on representing us so well and putting us on the map. I know it takes a lot of hard work, and I just really appreciate your academic success. And thank you so much. We're very proud of you, and thank you so much for your great work. All right, congratulations.
It was honestly a joke. The words that the mayor said that you spelled, I can honestly say most of those I couldn't spell if my life depended on it. If it wasn't for autocorrect on our phones and stuff like that, I would, so congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment. I know that as I say that, it's possible that a lot of students your age as well aren't at that level just yet. And so I'm really excited for what you're going to achieve. Please continue on that path. Continue to make your parents proud, your community proud. And again, congratulations.
Councilmember Carter, would you?
Congratulations. You have kids from every school talking about you. I work at a school, so a lot of kids are mentioning, they're just proud of you and they're looking up to you. So you just keep on doing what you're doing and keep on pushing for next year so that way you can come back just as bright and stronger and tougher than you did this year. So I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Councilmember Garcia?
Congratulations. I know it has taken a lot of support from your parents and also a lot of hard work to get to that level. You performed very well, and you made the city proud. So we're very happy to give you that award today in recognition for your hard work on top of your school, on top of everything else that you have to deal with to do this extracurricular and to do it so well at such a high level. It really is something special to see.
And again, congratulations to Karina and to mom and dad, for all of your support and for, it's just, she put our school on the map, so yes, yeah, thank Yes. Yeah. So, all righty. Okay, and so now we move on to our consent agenda. Colleagues? That was moved by Councilmember Oliva. Please vote. And so all those items on the consent agenda pass. And so now we move on to our item number 7. This is a public hearing to consider the approval of a rate increase for the collection, transportation, recycling, processing, and disposal of solid waste. And we have a presentation by Mr. Abraham Campos, our Public Works Director and City Engineer.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. So tonight, we come to our yearly rate increase request for CRNR. I'll go through a presentation just to update you and the public of how we got here and what the rates mean. So as you may recall, a couple years ago, we did the Prop 218 process, which allowed and set the amounts that we can charge for the next few years in terms of rate increases for the trash service that we have here, as well as the sweeping service, street sweeping service that we have. As part of the contract that was approved through that Prop 218 process, there's a predetermined formula on how we calculate the rate increases every year. These rate increases are based on a number of CPI indexes, such as labor, fuel, equipment, insurance, others, a catch-all, and a tonnage charge. There's a predetermined formula in the contract that CRNR is required to submit to us by March, and they did just that. So based on that request that we received from CRNR, they send us information, the CPIs, their calculation, their Excel sheet, and we move forward and send this to our consultant, HFNH, who reviews these for accuracy. We go off on the recommendation of basically this third-party consultant and making sure that the CPI information was used correctly and calculated correctly. And sometimes there's changes, sometimes there's not. In this case, it was pretty much the same. And the request that came in is to increase the rates by 2.5% on the, but to increase the rates by 2.5% on single-family residential, 3.5 for roll-off box services and roll-off box disposal. That's more on the commercial side on a one-off services as needed. The contract, just to remind the council, the contract is capped at 4% per year. So Prop 218 allows us to go up to 4% per year. That's how the rates were approved, and that's how CRNR agreed to proceed on the rate increases. So in this case, it's good news because we're not anywhere close to that 4%. We're at 2.5% at the request for single-family residential and commercial services. So what does that look? This is a little bit of an unfair chart because it goes back to 2007, but I like to show it and keep showing it because it shows a very stable trend between, let's say, call it around 2011 to 2017, where it was basically flat. We started increasing the rates in 17 to 21, and then we did a contract amendment, mainly triggered by state requirements such as SB 1383 and so forth, which forced us to go up this one time in 2022 that I mentioned as part of the Prop 218 process. And at that point, we've been increasing based on the contract. Right now, the 2.5% is 60 cents per month on the solid waste. So how much is that? Right now, typical residential site or home, you get your 3-cart service, which is your 3 containers at home. You're paying $24.47. We're currently paying $23.87, and the rate is going to $24.47, 60 cents. Your bill will show the used oil, so your bill will actually say $24.53 because it includes about 7-8 cents of used oil, which that doesn't increase. It's basically a flat rate. Or if the percent, it doesn't really change it. So your bill will say $24.53, but the actual collection rate is $24.47, if that makes sense. So it's a net increase of 60 cents on your monthly bill. Similarly, for apartments and mobile homes and commercial, same 2.5%. On the commercial, follows the same as residential, 2.5%. So you can see the proposed, for example, 96-gallon cart on refuse and trash from $41.65 to $42.69. So again, the numbers are generally low. On the roll-off box charges, which is a picture of what that is those are 3.5% for the services, and the ones that say tonnage on them, which kind of right there in the middle, tonnage charge per ton, those are 3.9% increase. So that table shows the new rates, the proposed rates. So again, we go back to the rates. These are increased by 2.5%. And again, just wanted to point out that they're well within the 4% cap that's allowed by contract. The CPI indexes did not justify going above the 2.5. The calc came at 2.5. With that, I will open this. I'd like to open the public hearing to hear public comments regarding the proposed rate schedule. And after listening to the comments, to approve resolution number 24 as presented on the screen. Any questions? And we do have representatives of CRNR. We have Matthew Gray, Francisco Shaw, and Victor Curry in the audience.
So then at this point, Mr. Campos, I'm going to open the public comment period. So I will now open the public hearings. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak? Anybody either present or remotely wishing to speak on this item? Okay, so then since we don't have anyone requesting to speak, I will now close this hearing. And I'll bring it back to my colleagues on the council. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
And from me, Mayor.
Councilmember Oliva, anything? So no, Mr. Campos?
All right.
I think, so at this point, now we will then vote on this item. Okay, so that motion was moved by Councilmember Carter. I seconded, and it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Campos. And at this point now, we will move on to item number 9, discussion and any necessary action to approve bid documents for the general landscaping services, tree removal, and irrigation repair and emergency landscaping services at large city parks and retention bases, and authorize the Community Services Department to go out for bid. And so we have our Community Services Director, Mrs. Adriana Nava.
Hello, Honorable Mayor. So just a little bit of background as it relates to the different contracts we have in place. So currently, the Parks Division works to maintain numerous right-of-ways, the city facilities. In total, it's about 111 acres of park space. In addition to that, we have a retention basin maintenance and cleanup. And so the personnel assigned to the division is minimal for the number of facilities that we have. So we rely on the private sector, different landscaping companies to assist with some of the mowing that goes on. So we have a total of 8 employees, 7 actually work out in the fields. And then in addition to that, we have 2 monitors that open, close gates, open restrooms, and close restrooms. So the contract before you is for all of our large city parks and ball fields. And here's a list associated with them. And I put it here so that you know when the bids come in and you don't get a little bit of sticker shock, because it will be the minimum wage has been increasing. And so we know these contracts are expired, so we know that there will be an increase. Coming before you the next meeting, we're going to bring in our small city parks agreement and also the lighting and landscaping maintenance district agreement, which are separate. And reason why we do them separately is it pushes a little bit of competition. If you assign it all to one contractor and they go out of business or anything happens, there's no internal competition going on. So currently we pay $13,615 monthly, depending if there's anything else that needs to be done. And in total, it's about $163,000 per year. Again, assuming the minimum wage goes up, we do anticipate this number increasing as well. And with that said, this is for council to provide authorization to go out to bid, and then this item will come before you once the bid award takes place. And that's it. Any questions?
Colleagues, any questions or comments from Mrs. Nava?
None from the mayor.
No, I think at this point, Mrs. Nava, I guess this is one of those factors that we just can't get around. So second, I know that it's probably hard to find good landscaping companies that will take on such a big project for us. So
Yes.
alrighty. Okie dokie. So now that is then passed and 5-0. And so now we move on to discussion and update regarding security services at Buckland Park. And once again, our Community Services Director, Mrs. Adriana Nava.
So this item is before you. You may recall originally when we were working on the agreement with Securitas, there was a concern about having an armed guard at Buckland Park, and you had asked for us to report back to the council as to how that was working out. Overall, I think it's been a positive experience. Due to new data available, we can see that in 2023, we had 298,700 visitors at the park. And so that the number of people has been increasing year over year by 7.9%, which I think it just goes to show that the park is safer, cleaner, and therefore is attracting more visitors. So overall, again, going back to the data, it's busy during most of the day. And then you can see the peaks on the days that we do have special events as well. And then year over year, the increase, especially over the last 2 years. So a lot of the, bless you, a lot of the improvements that have been going on, I think it's showing in terms of figures. As it relates to the community response, actually Advance is one of the landscaping companies that mows Buckland Park. And they briefly mentioned that they've been seeing a cleaner park. Because the security guard is there, people are less likely to litter, they're coming around. Also, people who tend to break some of our rules are also told to leave if they are breaking rules. For example, if they're trying to get intoxicated in the park, they will inform them that that's not allowed and they will leave the premises. So we do, with Securitas, we do receive incident reports. This is just an example. I cut off some of the data, but it shows you what we receive anytime there is an incident. And the incident reports are sent to myself, some of the key staff, and then also sent to a member also at the police department in case there's anything a little bit more serious. Aside from that, we did discuss this internally, and we are recommending to downscale the scope from an armed guard to an unarmed guard. We don't really feel it has been necessary. Council can decide otherwise since we've been with an armed guard. There is some cost savings, so the cost per hour for an armed guard is $29.36 versus unarmed, which is $26.48.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Nava. Colleagues, any questions, comments from Mrs. Nava?
I just,
You want me to
You know,
go?
unfortunately, we couldn't see the,
Yeah, well, thanks.
you know, yeah, because we didn't have the presentation up on our screens. But if you go back to the incidents. Okay. And I know that, you know, I had reviewed this in the packet, you know, but we, and these incident reports, what is the time frame in which you captured all of this information? Was it-
Daily. So we receive reports daily.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of them, they have stations that they have to report to during certain timeframes. So there's codes throughout the park, and the security guard is tasked with going from place to place. So daily, we receive a report of activity.
Mhm.
And then if there is anything outside of that, we do receive a report. This is the general extent to which we receive the report, and then it's followed by a narrative of how the situation was addressed.
Mhm.
Like I said, most of them are dogs without a leash, graffiti in restrooms, reporting any type of illicit activity. And then those individuals are usually informed you need to leave the park, and they do if they are breaking any of the rules.
You know, you had another one that had like graphs.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So you did 1 year overview of,
Yes,
Okay.
and just to show you the hourly visits, so now with this
Mhm.
data available, we can correlate security with the busiest times of the day.
okay.
so Madam Mayor, if I may ask, Ms. Nava, you say that there are incidents reported daily, and incidents could be a spectrum of things. And so is it fair to say that of the incidents that are reported, most of them, majority of them, does not require an armed guard? And so therefore, the presence of it might create a different situation. And so the incidents that we're seeing there could be better served by an unarmed guard. And that is why at one point in time in the past, there were some concerns. Perhaps those concerns have been addressed either by the public, the presence of a guard, period. And so now, because those concerns have now diminished, we're able to scale back. Is that accurate?
Yes, I do want to clarify though, we receive reports daily, incident reports almost daily, but not every single day. The guard does monitor other facilities as well. So they monitor the skate park, the aquatic center, those two, and then Buckland Park. So we do not receive incident reports daily, but we do receive reports daily from them regarding their activity, that they visited all the sites, anything unusual, we do receive the incident report. All of the incident reports that we read, there hasn't been any general encounters where we feel, a gun has made a difference, because in the event there is something a little bit more serious, they will contact the police department. The police department will go to the location.
Understood. Thank you.
And if we were to approve removing an armed guard, would you continue monitoring as you have, you know, with daily reports back from the security
Yes.
officers? Okay.
Yes,
Alright.
that part will not change.
Okay.
And if at any point, this was a pilot program, so it was authorized for 1 year. We do have
Mhm.
funding for 1 year. This will be something that council will need to revisit when the term ends. So far, I think we've had a really great experience working. We've had a couple of hiccups here and there,
Mhm.
but so far it's been a great experience. And I think that the public, I see a lot of great feedback from the public. And also, if you just visit the park, you notice a lot more just general cleanliness and tidiness.
Mhm.
And I think that that's made a big difference. Also, I notice, young people sometimes who are unaccompanied. So say, a 16, 17-year-old going to the park to jog,
Mhm.
they will report incidents to the security guard. And so that's always the sense of peace and relief that people get, that there's somebody there they can report incidents to.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to add, I'm just really excited to see the benefits that we have with having a security guard there. I think if we think back where we were a year ago and the number of complaints that were brought to us by residents about either feeling unsafe or any type of activity that may be taking place at Buckland Park, this is truly a vision that was implemented, and there has been a benefit to the community. And at this point, we hear a lot of positive feedback, individuals who feel comfortable walking at the park, whether that's much earlier in the morning, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, or late at night. There's this comfort to that. Many young youth participate in sport activities and many times come to the park, and that's where they practice. And now there's that sense of safety. So I'm glad that our council made that commitment, and I hope that we continue to do so, whether it's someone who is an armed guard or not. And it seems that the incidences have not warranted or made a detriment, right, where a armed guard is needed. At least it shows that people feel safer. So good job, Miss Adriana, and I appreciate the hard work of bringing this
Yes.
forward.
And think also PD, they've been really supportive when we have had incidents. We've contacted them because now that we know, what's transpired, we usually follow up. And then also I did defer to Chief Sawyer about today's recommendation because this is not my area of expertise. So I did defer, and he said, I'll support, your recommendation. And so I appreciate their support as well.
Yes.
If it doesn't work out, we can always come back.
Yes, it's a team effort,
Yes,
so
for sure.
definitely, Alrighty, thank you, Mrs. Nava. All right, colleagues, so now we're voting. Okay, and so that changed and adopted passes 5-0. So we move on to item number 11, authorizing the acceptance of grant funds from the Board of State and Community Corrections, and a presentation by our police chief, Mr. Robert Sawyer.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. I'm here to speak to you about the BSCC grant that was authorized under Assembly Bill 178. The city is currently in possession of $28,081.36 of grant funds. The intention of the grant was to be used for officer wellness programs. It is our ask that we are approved to use the grant funds towards the continuing use of the Cortical Wellness app that the police department has used for the last 16 plus months. It's a wellness app that's used by all of our employees, both sworn and professional staff at the police department. It allows them to have immediate access to our EAP programs, both the Council Team International, the city EAP program, and a number of other information, such as substance abuse programs, marriage counseling, and a number of other stress management programs available to them. It's something that they can carry with them at all times. It gives them immediate response. It also has a lot of different de-escalation techniques and everything that makes it readily available to them right at the fingertips. So that is our request with this grant. And the city is already in acceptance of this. It was something that was written into state law, and the allocation amounts were allocated by county. So that's how that decided.
Okay. All right, Chief. Colleagues, any questions or comments for Chief Sawyer? No? All righty. So Chief Sawyer, that resolution is adopted, and that's resolution number 24-47, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro, authorizing the acceptance of grant funds from the Board of State and Community Corrections in the amount not to exceed $28,083.31. So now we move on to item number 12, funding from the Department of Homeland Security allocated for the 2021 Operation Stone Garden. And again, once again, a presentation by our police chief, Mr. Robert Sawyer.
Good evening again. Thank you. So once again, every year we come before you for Operation Stone Garden funds. I think it's important that we discuss that Operation Stone Garden is a FEMA grant. It's administered by the United States Border Patrol, but it is not an immigration enforcement grant. So I want to make that very clear to our public. We are not engaged in enforcement of any type of immigration activities. It is a proactive law enforcement grant, which allows us to put additional officers on the street to conduct enforcement activities consistent with what we do daily. We do not go out and enforce Title 18 or 8 or 21 or any federal law. It specifically allows us to have additional resources out in the field to prevent crime from occurring and to address crime as it occurs within our community. So I want to make sure that that's readily apparent and abundantly clear to our members of our public. What this provides us is overtime available to our officers and to our supervisors to schedule the overtime to really target the peak hours where we have staffing shortages, and allows us to increase our staffing accordingly through the use of that overtime. It's also a reimbursement for mileage for fuel that's expended during the use of the extra vehicles during that time, and that allows us to recoup some of the cost of fuel. So it covers the cost of the salary and the cost of the fuel that's expended by those officers. In addition to that, there's an equipment component. So during this grant cycle, everything's covered 1 year, and there's usually about 2 to 3 years behind. So you notice that the fiscal year doesn't align with our current fiscal year. We are requesting $250,000, which has been approved. Our intent is to use that to continue our mobile license plate recognition program. And I want to make sure that I speak a little bit about that. So historically, we've used a company called Vigilant Solutions, and you'll notice that we have some funny looking cameras on the top of the police cars that are mounted on about half of our fleet. Those were at a cost of about $35,000 per system, 3-camera system per car. Well, technology has advanced, and we've improved technology, and we've been able now to relocate the cameras inside the vehicle and really reduce the cost considerably. Before, we were not able to outfit all of our marked police vehicles with these camera systems. We were only able to do about 45% of the black and white fleet within our community, at least within the city of El Centro, and that's been historically the same throughout the county. The new technology and the decrease in cost has now allowed us to move the cameras off the roof and inside into the vehicle, and our intent is to use this coupled with our budget request for a new in-car camera system that you'll be hearing about at the budget presentation. So our intent is to offset some of the costs of the in-car camera system, use the $250,000 that's part of the Operation Stone Garden grant equipment request to augment those costs, and then that will be an additional service of the license plate recognition that will be integrated into the body-worn and in-car camera system moving forward. Of significant note is not just the reduced cost, but by having them located on the roof, we've sustained some damage. So we're very limited on what we can use for car washes. As the cameras stick up, we've noticed that the brushes that come with the car washes, and no fault of the car washes, but if anything extrudes, like your mirrors or antennas or anything else, things get caught. And the cost to repair those is about $2,100. So this now moves them off the roof of the vehicles into the cars. It has a much wider field of view. Just technology is advancing every day. So it's a win-win for us. It also allows us to put that money towards another system that we are coming to end of life on, which is our in-car and body-worn camera system. So it really kind of serves two purposes here. So that is the intended use of the money. That's what's been approved by the federal government through Operation Stone Garden, and that's what we're requesting.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions or comments for Chief Sawyer? No? Please vote. All right, Chief. And that resolution is adopted 5-0, and that would be resolution number 24-48, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro accepting grant funds allocated from the Department of Homeland Security for Operation Stone Garden 2021.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Sawyer. And we move on to item number 13, discussion and any necessary action regarding the approval of a project list for fiscal year 2024-2025 funded by SB1 Road Repair and Accountability Act. And once again, our Public Works Director, City Engineer, Mr. Abraham Campos.
Hi, good evening again. This is once again a yearly item. Every year as part of the Road Repair and Accountability Act, we are required to tell the state what we plan on using the revenue generated by SB1 and transfer to the City of El Centro. For this year coming up, we're expected to receive $1,147,000 from the state on SB1 funding. The project we're proposing to assign this funding to is Annenberg Drive, the section basically between 4th and going east to Farnsworth right now. The number from 4th to Farnsworth or Beverly Lane to Farnsworth Lane in this case. We're planning on using this to support another project that we have over there that will be doing some trenching and on the Annenberg Drive in an effort to repair the roadway beyond what it is right now. Right now, as you can drive it, the road is in need of repair, and this funding will help towards that effect. Every year, our city principal engineer reports to the state on the progress of funding. That's why in your agenda you'll see the projects that have been funded through this funding in the past and the status of those projects. And that information is provided to the state. This new fiscal year 24-25 is a request that we're asking that you approve the project list, which is in this case, the list is this one project, to allow us to proceed in reporting to the state list. Any questions?
Colleagues, any questions for Mr. Campos? No. So will that help improve, just level out that road and will it widen it any?
Not at this point.
Not at
We
this
we
point?
did conduct what we call an alignment study.
Mhm.
So there will be at some point the need to go back and work with owners and on acquiring right of way. Because right now we do not have the right of way to widen to the south, but we have a plan on how to do that. So more environmental studies need to be done on that, as well as right of way acquisitions in the future or as property develops. But for now, as part of the Southern Pump Station project, which is out to bid right now,
Mhm.
we'll be digging up that number pretty badly. And to the point that we're probably gonna have to repair it. We'll repair it to the same width that it is at this point because that's the right of way we have. But it'll be a smooth ride after we're done.
Alrighty, Mr. Campos, thank you.
Thank
Okay, colleagues have voted. So we adopt resolution number 24-49. That passes 5-0. Resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 2024-25 funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act. Okay, so now we move on to item number 14, discussion and any necessary action regarding the cancellation or reduction of council meetings during the summer months. So colleagues, we traditionally go dark in the month of August, but I know that the last couple of years, we have adjusted some of our meeting dates, limiting maybe just one in August, one in July, and I recall that we also had adjusted one in September. So at this point, I would like to ask for input from my colleagues.
So, Madam Mayor, so just looking at our calendars, we would be looking at 2 regular meetings in July, or would we only have 1?
Well, taking into consideration that that first weekend, the first meeting in July would be on the 2nd, and I know that's also a holiday week. Maybe what we can do is cancel one meeting in July and then one meeting in August, so that we do not disrupt any, projects or items that need to go, up before us for approval. Any other suggestions?
So as of right now, Madam Mayor, you're stating that one meeting in July, one meeting in August. Would that mean that we would cancel the 16th in July and the 6th in August?
No, I'm looking at canceling the 2nd in July, Tuesday the 2nd.
Okay.
And then, so as not to go for such a long period of time, maybe what we can do is cancel the 20th of August. Yeah, I know our school starts on the 21st.
So what about the 2nd of July and the 6th of August?
Does,
2nd and the 20th, right?
well, I'm proposing the 2nd and the 20th. Councilmember Oliva suggests the 2nd of July and the 6th of August.
And that's only because of the comment by Ms. Carter in terms of school. And I know that by that time, most families have to be back for school, right? But
Yes.
on the 6th,
Yeah, that would
Be on
leave it
vacation.
open to, in case that any of our staff members are looking at taking some time off during the summer. So I think it would alleviate, some of the pressure and the stress of getting items on the agenda.
yes,
So,
right before school, right?
yeah, and right before school starts.
Yeah.
So the 2nd, so that we're not completely dark in August, this would be canceling the meeting on Tuesday, July the 2nd, and Tuesday, August the 6th.
And then for September, we were looking at canceling the meeting on September the 3rd because that's the day after a holiday. So I just want to put it on the radar that we don't want to go too many weeks without
Yeah,
having a meeting in between. So
I
just
hadn't,
putting that out there.
maybe we just don't
Maybe-
cancel that one.
Maybe we,
Day after Labor Day.
yeah,
and so
the day
staff
after
has to
Labor Day, and it's,
prepare
yeah,
reports and so forth.
I hadn't looked at September. So,
In the past, that has been what we've done,
mhm.
is cancel it. I'm not saying it has to, I'm just saying, in the past, that's what we've
Okay.
done. And
So-
we've also had to work around Cal Cities, but this year it will be in
It's in
October.
October, right? Okay, so maybe let me propose that we then cancel Tuesday, August the 6th, and then Tuesday, September the 3rd, instead of, and then we will have the 2 meetings in July.
July's
Yeah.
5 weeks, so I'm sure there's things that need to be
Mhm.
completed at the beginning of the
Okay,
year.
so colleagues, how does everybody feel about those 2 dates instead of, and we will have 2 council meetings in July, and then 1 council meeting in August and 1 council meeting in September? Will that work?
Mhm.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, so then,
All smiles in the audience, Madam Mayor, I saw.
all right, so we will then cancel the meeting on Tuesday, August the 6th, 2024, and the meeting scheduled for Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024. Okay. Alrighty, thank you, colleagues.
There's a vote for that, Mayor.
What was that?
We need you both for that.
Oh, okay. Does it? Okay, alrighty. Has everybody voted? Yes. Okay, and everybody's in agreement on those 2 dates. Thank you very much. And so now we will move on to, we've got some informational items on the agenda, but we will move on to task force reports and from the mayor and council members, and then from our city manager. Okay, so.
Would you like me to start?
Yeah.
Mary? Okay, wonderful. Just a couple of items to discuss as far as attendance. Obviously had the opportunity to attend the ribbon cutting for South Imperial Avenue Extension. It's a great event. Thank you. It was excellent. Great community turnout as well. Great to see that accomplishment completed by our staff and with the collaboration of other agencies. On May the 22nd, attended ICTC's budget workshop. Also attended ICTC's commission meeting. Attended our Cal Cities Imperial County Division meeting. Attended the Sure Helpline their gala, and then had the opportunity to attend the Memorial Day ceremonies that took place both at Evergreen and Buckland Park. And that's the end of my report, Madam Mayor.
Member Oliva?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and colleagues. So I, colleagues, as you know, was checked out for a little bit and spent the last 2 weeks just outside of Colorado in Aurora, specifically because my nieces live out there and I see them once a year, maybe once every 2 years. And so my oldest niece, Elena, graduated high school 2 weeks ago. And I'm still in shock that she's going to be 18. I mean, where does the time go? But I was thankful for my colleagues to allow me to spend some time with family and reconnect with my sister, my brother-in-law, my nieces. And so my report is light in that. But before I did leave, I was able to participate remotely with the Community Enhancement Task Force with the Madam Mayor. And this morning, participated at the Cal Cities legislative briefing, and they went over several bills in public safety, environmental quality, and basically the importance there is that the legislature recently passed a deadline where all of the bills of their House of Origin need to advance, otherwise bills die, right? And so they're getting into that point where, one, they have to hurry up and pass bills. Two, they're putting together that agreement for the budget, right? And so there's some concerns, obviously, as far as like what that means for cities and the funding of it. But the last quarter, I guess you could say, of a four-part series that is the two-year legislative session. It's just a few months away to just kind of wrap up this session. And so we're going to see a lot of bills come before us. And I know many of us sit in committees related to Cal Cities. And so we're going to be bombarded with requests for support to just kind of hurry up and rush at the end of this legislative session. So we will all be presenting that as we get presented that. So with that, I conclude and yield back.
Councilmember Carter?
As so many others, I attended the groundbreaking at the Imperial Avenue, and that was awesome. It was a very nice event. Seeing so many people came out. Very, very well attended. The Memorial Day ceremony with the mayor at Southwest High School, those kids, they did a phenomenal job. It was a very, very nice event. And then the Sure Helpline Gala, and I received an Iron Woman Award. So that was a nice event too. Yes. So then Memorial Day ceremony at Buckland Park, we attended that. That was nice as well. The Task Force to End Homeless, I attended on Zoom with Madam Mayor and Cedric. Very nice to hear moving forward on some projects. And then the 103rd Black Wall Street event, it was a 3-on-3 basketball event. Very nice and a good turnout. Thank you to the city who came out and supported and helped. That concludes my event.
Well, like my colleagues, I was very happy to attend the ribbon cutting for South Imperial Avenue. It's been a long time coming. It's really going to open up a new corridor for the city and really has a lot of potential for some increased housing and commercial opportunities going south. So I'm really looking forward to that. I know we've been dealing with it for many, many years, far before me serving on this council. This is something that's been decades in the making. So it's wonderful to see the city finally get it done with the support of all the other agencies as well. And it was just a great event in general. So I also had the opportunity to attend the Memorial Day event at Buckland Park. It's wonderful to be able to get out there with people in the community and really celebrate the day for what it's for. And being there with the veterans, of course, that it's always very moving. So I did attend that with my children. And we had a great time like every year. And that'll conclude the report.
Thank you. So we were, I'm so proud to be the mayor at this point in time, because that opening of the Imperial Avenue extension is a project, like Councilmember Garcia had stated, that has been in the making for many decades. I recall, as a young adult hearing about, that happening one day, and I'm glad that I'm still around to see that. And I hope to live many more years to see all of the development that comes from that extension all the way out to McCabe Road. And, I'm still in awe over that. So thank you, Mr. Campos, for all of your hard work, for all of your team, for Caltrans, for all of those agencies, for ICTC that is involved in the ongoing, extension of Imperial Avenue. I'm already picturing what it's going to look like, in the future. And that same day, we also had our Community Enhancement Task Force meeting. Many items, projects that are in the works that are coming around slowly but surely. It's just like, and so was also at the Memorial Day ceremony that was held at Southwest High School. I have to give those cadets so much credit. They did an excellent job of putting on a very touching ceremony. And I know that it was on the front page of the newspaper. I hope you got to see all of the pictures that were taken by Roman that was there representing the Imperial Valley Press. But, and I happen to know the speaker that was asked to speak, Dr. David Boniface and his wife Elia were there. They lost a son to his military service, and so it was just a very, very touching and very well organized ceremony, and I just commend them. for the work that they did. And these cadets are all high school students, and they're led by their principal, who is also an officer of that organization. So kudos to them. We also attended the Cal Cities Division meeting, that evening. And, of course, we, that is a meeting that is attended by all of the elected officials from throughout the county. So always proud to brag about the city of El Centro and all of the events that we have going on and all the projects. And the following day, my gosh, the adult tea party at the community center that was put on by all of the staff there. It was such a beautiful event. I couldn't believe how many people were in attendance, and those seniors, they live for those events. And, I'm one to notice all the little details, but even just the teacups that they had on the tables were beautiful. So, I've got to give Leah and her team, a shout out for such a good job. And all of those seniors, they just were having such a good time. And all of the little, the little appetizers that were served, plus they had a lot of good raffle prizes too. Okay, so, and then that evening I was at the aquatic center for the Kiwanis Club's Kentucky Derby. And, I've been attending this event since they started. It is so cute. And they have these, they use the lazy river to have a horse race, but they look like little ducks, but they have a horse head. I have to give them credit for, for being so creative and innovative with the use of the pool. But, one of the, this is a fundraiser for them, and they give back to the city of El Centro in the form of the funds that they raised, which was a total of $3,000, is given back to the aquatic center to provide scholarships for families, to bring their children to the pool during the summer. And so we are thankful to the Kiwanis Club for their support of the youth in our community. So that we also had the Memorial Day ceremony at Buckland Park with the Vietnam veterans. And that too is, something that, a lot of people, I was talking to Mr. Carol Buckley at the event, and he's usually there every year with us, along with us. And, I think it's just so important. I was always in attendance at the Memorial Day ceremony that was held on Main Street by the Elks, but, they no longer do that. And, and I think it is so important to pay respects, not only to all of those that served and sacrificed their lives, but also to the veterans that have served us. And, I know that in my family, my dad and my brothers both served in the Air Force. So it's always important to pay our respects, to all of those service members on such a touching day. We also had the homeless task force meeting the following day, and I would like to, thank Mrs. Adriana Nava and for Stacy for, their continued work on my Helping Hands project. We're so close. We're just now waiting on 2 vehicles that are in the shop for repair that we are donating to Catholic Charities to be able to launch this program, and hopefully by the beginning of the fiscal year, we'll have that in place. And so that concludes my report, and I'll turn it over to our city manager, Mr. Cedric Cesenia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Excuse me. I attended some of the very same events that you guys participated in, but I must say that the students at Southwest High School did a tremendous job in memorializing those who have attended Southwest High School and perished at war. So it was a very moving tribute that was presented. On May 28th, we had a swearing-in ceremony. We had multiple employees become part of the city family. We had 1 police officer recruit. We had 1 lateral police officer, 1 reserve officer, and we had a certified water distribution operator that joined the ranks. We also attended on May 30th, Mario and myself attended along with some other staff a grant writing regional training that was held at our very own public library, or the El Centro Library. Outside of that, same attendance to some of these meetings. I do want to take a moment to congratulate all graduating classes across Imperial County, but most specifically in El Centro tonight. There's 2 graduations going on. There will be fireworks. If you guys hear explosions and stuff like that, please know that that's what that is. And unfortunately we're here, or fortunately we're here, but, we're not able to attend, but that nonetheless, both Central and Southwest High School are recognized for their graduating classes. And I just want to remind Brawley that Central is still holding the belt here in El Centro. Outside of that, I do want to take a moment personally to, congratulate my daughter Bella. She'll be graduating tomorrow from Calexico High School. That's definitely a tremendous feat. One heck of a resilient young lady that has all the respect in the world from her father. Thank you.
And I'd like to mention just a few more things, and then we'll adjourn our meeting. I would like to invite you to my next Monday with the Mayor, which is Monday, June the 10th at 5:30 p.m. We will be at AV Plumbing Supply, which is located at 641 West State Street in the downtown area. So please join me to talk about any topics related to the city of El Centro. Our summer recreation guide is now available. Okay, it is on the front page of our website. Please visit our website, cityofcelcentro.org, for not only for that, but also for the map. Mr. Hernandez, what is it called? The
Interactive map.
The interactive development map. So please, use that. It's a fascinating tool. We're having a summer kickoff pool party at the Aquatic Center on June the 14th from 5 to 9 p.m. We will have food vendors and cabanas available for rent, but the admission to the Aquatic Center is free. And then we are also preparing for our library summer reading program, and the calendar is now published. And look for it on the library's Facebook page. It includes all the activities at our library that is coming this summer. And last year we had approximately 45,000 participants in that program. I mean, that's phenomenal. So, please, visit the Facebook page. And I would like to end this meeting with the moment of silence for Officer Efren Coronel, who died of COVID 4 years ago yesterday. He was a veteran of the police department. He was there for 24 years. He would have been 56 years of age this coming October. And let's just please take a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you, everybody, for attending this evening's meeting. It is 7:05 p.m. and our meeting is adjourned.